Today we are looking at the project management lesson in IT 2403, that is lesson number 7 in systems analysis and design. So, project management is a very important function when it comes to implementation of information systems, and also the demand for project managers when you are building information systems is very high, because to become a good project manager or to get a good project manager is not very easy. Usually these information system project managers come from the ranks of experienced IS developers such as systems analysts. So, when you have been working for a long time as a systems analyst, you get the experience that is needed to become a project manager. Even systems analysts should be aware of project management processes, tools and techniques. That is, what are the things that we should do to manage a project, and what are the tools and techniques that we can use. Before we look at project management, let us define what a project is. A textbook definition of a project is, it is a sequence of unique, complex and connected activities that have one goal or purpose, and that must be completed by a specific time within a given budget and according to the specifications. Now, when we look at each one of these words that are here, we say project is a sequence of unique, complex and connected activities. Sequence means you do them one after the other, like unique. Unique, what we mean by unique there is, one project may be different from another project, because you will not get two similar projects most of the time. There will be slight differences even in similar projects. So, there will be different activities in each project. Complex, because it is not easy to implement an information system, and connected activities, one activity is connected to another because one thing follows another. So, you have to accomplish all these tasks or activities to achieve your goal or purpose. And what is this goal? Goal is the building of the information system, that is your goal, and within, to achieve this goal, there may be various objectives that have to be accomplished. So, all these tasks must be completed by a specific time. You do not have all the time in the world to finish this job. It must be done within a certain time, within a given budget. There will be a certain amount of resources or finances allocated to this project. So, you must not exceed that the time limits or the budget, and according to the specifications. What we mean by specifications is what has been given to you by the users. You must finally satisfy. The information system that is delivered must satisfy all the stakeholders of that system. Stakeholders meaning users and owners and so on. So, a project is not just any project, not only an information systems development project. Any project you will find this, this is the way you would define a project. So, a project manager is a person who will be responsible for supervising that the systems project from initiation to conclusion. So, a project manager has to be there from the beginning to the end, and he has to supervise that the project goes according to the plan, and he should possess a wide range of technical, management, leadership and communication skills. So, depending on the size of the project, sometimes there may be very simple projects, sometimes there may be very complex projects. So, you have to have the technical knowledge, you have to have the management capabilities, and you should be able to lead a team properly, and you should also be having good communication skills, so that you know you can direct your team properly. And we can divide the project management into different tasks. You have the staffing, you must get the correct staff, then the scope of the project has to be identified properly, planning has to be done. Then once the plan is done, you have to direct the people properly to do it. you have to do the organization properly, and you have to control the activities also according to the plan. So, the development of an acceptable system at a minimum cost within a specified time frame. So, this project management you can say involves all these activities, and it is the process of the development of an acceptable system at a minimum cost within a specified time frame. So, the resulting information must be delivered on time, delivered within the budget, and it must be acceptable to the customer. Project management is a cross life cycle activity because it overlaps all phases of any systems development methodology. So, irrespective of whatever the methodology like FAST or SSADM or object oriented analysis and design methods, the methodology may be different, but project management must be applied to irrespective of whatever the methodology you are using. A project can be described as successful only if the resulting information system is acceptable to the customer. Acceptable to the customer means in every sense of the word, the customer should be satisfied with the delivered system. It must be delivered on time, it must be delivered within the given budget, and this can easily happen that you will exceed the time limits given and the budget, because as a system is being developed, more scope can get added to it. That is, people, the stakeholders might give you various other requirements, and which will take time as well as it will cost more money. So, your management must be the manager of the project has to be aware of these things, that the project can always customers can include more requirements into the project. By allowing that, your project may not be able to be completed within the given time, also it may cost more than what was budgeted at the beginning. The system development process has a minimal impact on ongoing business operations. The other thing is, while you are implementing this system, the normal business operations of that organization cannot be stopped. While those business operations are going on, only you have to develop the system. So, not all projects meet the above criteria, thus not all projects are therefore successful. So, either the system that is developed may not be acceptable to the customer, or it may not be delivered on time, or it may exceed the given cost, or it may affect the currently going current operations may have to be stopped. Sometimes we find systems being implemented like in banks. Sometimes the bank service is not available to customers on weekends and holidays and so on. They will say, because our system is being upgraded, so we cannot provide these services on such and such a date. So, that kind of thing also has to be minimized. What are the causes of failed projects? Failure to establish upper management commitment to the project. At the very beginning, the people in the higher management, that is the management of the organization, will be fully committed to the project. But as time goes on, that same level of commitment may not come from the top management of the company. Lack of organization's commitment to the system development methodology. Now, these methodologies, whatever the methodologies that you are using, you have to always improve on these methodologies, and you cannot, once you start on a certain methodology, you cannot then jump to another methodology. So, you have to stick to one methodology and you have to always improve on it. But if the commitment is not there, these things will not happen. And taking shortcuts through or around the system development methodology. Sometimes, you tend to relax at the beginning, and then when you find that the time available is not enough, you may take shortcuts to the development methodology. That is, certain phases or certain stages or certain activities may be not implemented. So, when you do that, what will happen is finally the quality of the system will suffer because of that. So, trying to take shortcuts you should avoid, because that may also be one of the causes the project will fail. Premature commitment to a fixed budget and schedule. Now, at the very beginning, we always have budgets and various plans and schedules. that is at the very early stages of analysis, it is very difficult to fix a exact budget or give an exact time schedule. These things have to be a little flexible, because as time goes, when you do more detailed analysis, only you will find that you become aware of the actual situation. So, in such cases, if you have not given a little adaptability, or if you want to stick to a very strict budget and time schedule, also it may fail the project. Poor estimating techniques. Now, most of the analysts have this, they tend to, when they are making estimates, they tend to take shortcuts, because what they do is they will make a quick estimate and they will double the cost and say this is our estimate. Of course, it has not been done correctly, and that is not the way to give a proper estimate also. Then premature commitment to a fixed budget and schedule. So, we have already discussed that, and poor estimating techniques, those two bullets have got repeated. So, you can ignore those two. And over optimism, that is, sometimes you are very confident that you can deliver this project easily. So, because of that you tend to take things easily, and because of that, because you are too confident, you may fail in actually doing the project properly. The mythical man month. Man month means when we do calculations, we say if you require one man for a number, he will be able to accomplish this in 3 months. Then you do, okay, if you have 3 men, how many, you may be able to reduce the month to a 2-week period or something like that. So, sometimes you wait till you come to the end of, almost the end of a project, and suddenly you realize that most of the work has not been accomplished. So, what you try to do is you try to put more people into the project. This we have seen happening over and over again, because at the beginning you relax, and then towards the end you sort of start panicking, and then you introduce more people into the project. By doing that, actually what you are doing is people get confused, and they try to do too many things too quickly, and therefore, that also can cause to a failure in the project. Inadequate people management skills. So, you have a whole lot of people, and if as a good manager, if you are not able to manage those people properly and their skills properly, again a project can fail. Failure to adapt to business change. So, sometimes you just, when you are asked to develop an information system, you do things like this. That is, you have a manual process, you just go and convert into a computerized system. That is also not going to deliver a good information system, because just converting a manual system into a computerized system is not all about building information systems, because there may be new ways of doing things, there may be certain things that you are doing for the sake of doing things. So, therefore, you have to really make a study of it and actually see how these business operations that you are doing, whether they are being done correctly, or whether you are just doing, that organization is doing them just because they are used to doing those things. And also you must always remember there may be a lot of competitors who have introduced new changes into their systems. So, those things also have to be taken into consideration. Insufficient resources, that is, you have not allocated maybe enough money, enough time, or enough people may not be available to the project. Failure to manage to the plan. So, you have a schedule, you have a plan, but if you cannot stick to that plan, again the project will fail. So, major cause of project failure is that most project managers were not educated or trained to be project managers. So, most of them have not really got the managerial skills. Because of that, the projects can fail. What are the competencies that should be there in a project manager? Competencies, or what are the skills that they should really have? Good project managers possess a core set of competencies. Core set means these are the essential competencies that they should have. Some of these can be taught in courses. So, project management courses will teach some of these competencies. or you may be able to read books and gain that knowledge, or you may attend workshops and gain that. Some come only with professional experience in the field. So, most of these competencies anyway have to be gained by working in the field. Basic premises of project management competencies. Premises means these are things that we believe to be essential. Individuals cannot manage a process they have never used. So, if you haven't done a thing before, then we assume that they cannot properly manage it, because if you have done a thing in your previous experiences, then you know how it really works. So, therefore, it is very easy for you to manage it. Managers must have an understanding of the business and culture that provides a context for the project. So, how a particular business organization, how it works, and what is the business culture that they have in a particular organization. If you cannot have an understanding of that, then because the projects can vary, even a similar type of project implemented in different organizations will vary depending on the way they do the business and the culture that they have. So, those things must be understood by the managers. So, there are influence competencies, problem solving competencies, self management competencies, business achievement competencies, people management competencies. So, these are the core competencies that a project manager should have. How do you gain these competencies? Now, when you say influence competencies, how you can influence people to do work. So, basically what you are doing is you are managing a team of people. So, you should know what their skills are, you should be able to influence them to come up with better work or better delivery. So, and problem solving competencies in projects, there will always come different types of problems. So, you must have the competency to solve those problems, and you can do that only if you have done something. Then you know when you come to a problematic situation, how to come out of that problem. Self management competencies, you should be able to manage yourself, and also you should be able to manage the others also. People management competencies. Business achievement competencies. So, how do you, through a project, how do you actually achieve the needs of a particular business organization? So, if you refer to this book reference 1, page 123, there is a table 4.141 given, which says how can you really achieve these competencies, or how can you gain these competencies for a project manager. Then what are the functions of the project manager? Earlier we, in a diagram you saw all these the various tasks of a project manager, like staffing, scoping, planning, controlling, directing, organizing and so on. So, we will just look at them in a little more detail. Scoping, this is one of the most important things in a project project management process. Scope means it defines the boundaries of the project. To what extent are you going to work in this project? A project manager must scope project expectations and constraints in order to plan activities, estimate costs and manage expectations. So, as a project grows, you will always find that the user's expectations also increasing. So, you have to be very careful in this, because if you try to include all these expectations within the project, you will definitely find that there will be more activities have to be done. More activities means it will take more time and also it will cost more. So, therefore, these expectations of the users have to be managed properly, and you have to define the scope of the project at the very beginning itself. Planning identifies the tasks required to complete the project. So, you have to plan what are the activities. You have a goal. The ultimate goal is delivering an instance within that given budget, within the time constraints, and to satisfy the users. So, then to accomplish this goal, you have various activities that you have to execute, and these activities or tasks have to be identified and planned properly. Then estimating, each task that is required to complete the project must be estimated. How much time required for each activity, how much people or how many people will really be needed to accomplish this activity, what are the skills of the people who are needed at this point of time, and how much will it cost. So, can some of these tasks overlap, etc. Now, there are some tasks you have to wait till that particular task is over to begin another task, but on the other hand there are certain activities or tasks which can be done in parallel. So, this estimating takes into consideration all these things: how much time, what sort of people are needed, what are the skills that they have to have, how much will it cost, how much of time it will take, and what are the tasks that can be done in parallel, and so on. Then scheduling. So, you have a plan, you have estimated. Now, given the project plan, all project activities have to be scheduled. Then you have to get yourself organized. Should make sure that members of the project understand their own responsibilities as well as their reporting. So, when you do this, even communication comes into this, because if you have not made the members of the team understand what their responsibilities are and who they should report to or how often they should report to, these are things that you have to do in the organizing task. Then directing. Once the project has begun, the project manager should direct the team's activities. You can't just say, okay, I have planned, I have assigned all these work to each and everyone, but you have to really see whether they are doing these things. Controlling. Need to monitor and report progress against goals, schedule and costs, and need to make appropriate adjustments when necessary. So, once you have assigned these various tasks to people, you can't say that everything is done now, I can relax. No, you have to constantly monitor whether the progress is according to the plans or the schedule, whether the objectives of each and every task are being accomplished at the end of the time or the costs that were allocated to it, or if you have to make adjustments, you have to do so. Then finally, closing. Good project managers assess success and failures at the conclusion of the project. So, you have to assess how much of success you have been able to achieve or where are the places you failed. They learn from mistakes and plan for continuous improvement of the system development process. So, as you go through each and every project, people always do mistakes, but what is important is to avoid mistakes in your future projects. So, what you have to do is you have to learn from the mistakes that you have made. So, all these functions depend on ongoing interpersonal communication among project manager, the team and other managers. So, there will be teams, there will be team leaders, there will be other assistant managers and so on. So, if there is no communication among all these people, the project is definitely going to fail. So, one of the most competent competencies that a project manager should have is the communication skills. What are the tools and techniques that you can use in the process of project management? These PERT charts and Gantt charts are two tools that are being used widely for project management. A PERT chart is a graphical network model that depicts a project's tasks and the relationship between those tasks. So, there is an example shown here. I would like you to refer to this diagram that is given in the textbook also. So, each task is labeled like 1.1.1.1 or 1.1.1.2, 1.2.1 and so on, right. And it gives the heading gives what is the task, and also it gives the resources required, resource A, resource B, that is who is doing. Then it gives the start date and how much of time is required and so on. So, a PERT chart really it stands for project evaluation and review technique, that is what PERT means, and it is developed to make clear the interdependence between project tasks before those tasks are scheduled. So, it is like in a diagrammatic form, you show the various tasks and show their interdependencies also. Interdependency means one task you may not be able to start until another task is completely finished or at least halfway through. So, boxes represent project tasks. Content of the boxes can be adjusted to show various project attributes such as schedule and actual start and finish time. So, those are the things that you show inside the boxes. The arrows indicate that one task is dependent on the start or completion of another task. So, certain tasks, as I said earlier, can be done in parallel, but on the other hand certain tasks will have to wait till the completion of another task. On the other hand, a Gantt chart, which is most commonly used for project scheduling and progress evaluation tool. It is more the PERT was more to sort of find out the interdependencies of tasks, but a Gantt chart can be used for project scheduling and also you can evaluate the progress of the project. It is a simple horizontal bar chart that depicts project tasks against a calendar. So, you have the time on dates on on the columns and the horizontal bars represent the various activities. Each bar represents a named project task. The tasks are listed vertically in the left hand column. So, you can see in this diagram again, as I said, the vertical columns you give the dates, that is 28th July 97, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and so on, and the task names. There is a task number. Number 1 is establish the need, number 2 set target date, number 3 establish lead lines, number 4 book venue. So, all right, and the duration of each task is given there, 2 days, 1 day, or it may be sometimes and if it is 2 days, you can see how the horizontal bar shows 28 July 97, Monday and Tuesday has been given to establish the need. Then Wednesday only 1 day, set target date, establish lead times 1 day, that is the Thursday. So, like that you can see this is the way a schedule is made, and then once you do the work you can see whether you are really sticking to this schedule or whether you are exceeding the time limits given. And also this shows clearly overlapping tasks. So, in this diagram you can see some of the overlapping tasks. Now, these can be done task number 3 and task number 5, these can be done at the same time. You do not have to wait till 3 is over to do 5. But if you take this task number 4, you can see you can't do that until you finish task number 3. So, this clearly shows overlapping tasks, that means tasks that can be performed at the same time. The bars can be shaded to clearly indicate percentage completion and project progress. So, again when you now here of course, all the lines are colored now, but you can keep them as empty boxes and then as you do the work you can fill them in, so that you can show whether the task is accomplished or not, or how much of it has to be accomplished. Also shows which phases are ahead of and behind schedule at a glance. So, you can at a glance you can see what are the activities or the phases that you are completing or what are the activities that you are behind schedule. It is simple, it is easy to learn, read, prepare and use. So, if you compare the two tools, that is a Gantt chart versus a PERT, Gantt and PERT charts are not mutually exclusive. Gantt charts are more effective when seeking to communicate the schedule, that is when you want to show to the other people the progress of the project. It is very easy to show the progress using a Gantt chart. PERT charts are more effective when you want to study the relationship between the different tasks. There are various project management software. I mean, people can do these things manually, like drawing Gantt charts and PERT charts and so on can be done manually, but also now there are project management software which can be used to help managers to plan the projects, develop schedules, develop budgets, monitor progress and costs, generate reports and also do effective change whenever changes have to be done. Now, automated project management tools, we have given some project management tools here. Now, this Microsoft project is a software which is used very widely by people who use the Microsoft software, but there are other software tools also which can be used for project management. So, that is about all that we have to say in these lessons, but I must tell you that you should be able to draw a PERT chart, you should be able to draw Gantt charts either using a software tool or even manually. So, for activities probably we will give you some work like that. Thank you.